Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm working on a lot of different blades. I've got a mixture of stainless blades, stainless folders, and some cable Damascus neck knives that I'm working on. And I forged that cable billet out in a past video. I'm working on a lot of things, and I'm not sure which direction I'll be going on specifically on these, but I'll be working on all of them pretty much at the same time. So let's take a look at what I got here. All right, so what I've got here is a couple different pattern drop points, and I'm using AEBL stainless. It's one of my favorite stainlesses to use, and these are pretty popular. And this is some of my flippers, and I'll be making frame lock out of one of these, and 3 of these will be liner locks. All 4 of these will be liner locks as well, my mini liner locks. They're not flippers. They'll be a thumb stud opening. And this is my folding fillet knife design. I've made a couple of these, and it's been about 3-4 years since I've made one. The last one I made was for my father, and he didn't get to see it before he passed. And I gave it to my brother. He used it this weekend, as a matter of fact, while fishing, and loaded the boat up with catfish. And this is 2 neck knives made from the cable Damascus billet I made a couple videos back, like I said. And these are my mosquitoes, I call them, and they're neck knives. And these will probably be going to the Louisiana Knife Show with me. But the first thing I'm gonna do is just get everything cut out, and then I will focus on the particular ones I want to work on and get them heat treated. So I got a lot of stainless to heat treat, and these will be done separately. And starting on the frames and all that, I don't know how far we get along on which ones, but we'll get there. All right, got them all profiled, and that takes quite a while. I finish them up to about 220 grit on the outsides of everything, but I get them very close on these folders. Now, I'll still have to come in here when I start assembling these small ones and correct right in here where the stop pin will rest. But I wait till I get everything assembled so I can ease up into that to get a perfect fit. These are very small and kind of awkward to work with. So, you know, they won't have stop pin tracks in like these flippers will have. And because of their flippers and this particular design, I have to put a track in here because there's no room for the flipper to miss a stop pin up here. That's just that design. And I've got the holes laid out for these 2 drop points and fillet knife, which is a folder as well, fold and fillet. And it'll also have a stop pin back here. This track will not be in there. I just put that in there when I was designing just to take a look at it. I thought I might put a flipper tab on it, but it's not necessary. It'll have a thumb stud. But I'm gonna go ahead and center punch everything. And that way, because these wear out pretty quick, I like to get everything center punched. I can remove these tabs, but I wanted to go over something. I've went over this before in my folder builds, and I use a optical center punch to punch my holes, especially for folders, because I need them to be precisely like the template has them. And if you don't have an optical center punch, you need to get one. A maker years ago saw a video that he posted. He uses Mike Ecom. His channel is still up, but he no longer posts videos, but he was a great folder maker. But basically you have a magnifier that has crosshair on here. You set it up on your marks, you line it up, hold it down, and you'll pull out this crosshair magnifier, and you're going to stick in a center punch in the hole that came from, hit it, and you're dead on it. Now this thing magnifies it where you can get deadly accuracy. And like I said, I mainly use it for folders, but I'll go ahead and punch everything with it. I also have an extra blade here in the batch, and I'll leave a link to in the description for a optical center punch. And this is a ATS 34 blade that it was the last piece of ATS 34 or knife I made from it, and it's been sitting in my shop for like 7 or 8 years, and it's a little paring knife I was making. It's just needs a handle on it, and I'm gonna use it in the house. But the last piece of ATS 34, excellent steel. I wish I could still get it, but that'll be a paring knife that I'll go ahead and finish after so many years. So we get these punched and we'll start drilling the holes. A lot of drilling. All right, so I use several different drill presses depending on what I'm drilling. If I'm doing pivots, I use my mill because I want a good flat straight hole. I mean, very accurate hole. I want these accurate, but I don't have any run out on the mill. Oh, well, not like you do on drill presses. And I'll use several different ones because I don't have to fool with changing belt speed. So I just set up my bits in several. I've got 3 outside in the main shop that I'll do other drilling with. But I got this one set up with a small bit, and I'll go through and do all the 3/32 holes, and then I'll do the folder pivots and all of that, and then I'll come in here and I will chamfer all of the holes, because when you heat treat, you don't want any, hard corners. You want to avoid them anyway in those holes. So we'll get these drilled, and it's a lot of drilling, and we'll move on to the next steps, which I'll be heat treating. So before I start heat treating these blades, I have to cut stop pin tracks in 4 of these folders. But I use an undersized pivot pin to mount on my rotary table, and that hole for your pivot sits down in there, and I bolt it down and then bolt it out on the edge, and I cut the stop pin track. I always use an undersized, that way I can ream after heat treating. But the one I have is just a little tight and have trouble getting the blade on there, so I made another one and took down just a little bit more, and this fits still snug, but I can get the blades on there a lot easier. So I took the old one out. I'm going to install this one, and we'll be up and going. I'm just going to glue it on the bottom to where it goes up against the plate so it don't fall into the vise. And I can't get to it because once I bolt it down, that's it. So I just put a little dab of glue around there to hold it while I do that. And then the blade will come up here, sit right here, and then I'll have a screw that holds it down. Of course, it still feels tight, but it is smaller. Let that glue dry, and then we'll start cutting these channels. All right, I've got all of the stop pin tracks cut except for one, this one here. And that's because I forgot to lock my head down on my mill, and the end mill walked around. It cut down about 10 thousandths before I realized it, so I'll take it to surface grinder and clean that off. Just more time killed, and it'll be down to around 125 thousandths, which is where I want them anyway. I'm going to be dusting these off as well. And just a little tip, these are the neck knives. They will also get surface ground a little more. They're a little thick, but I come in here and bevel these or chamfer these holes, and then I clean them up. And the way I do that, you know, they start out like this. They just roughly chamfered with a carbide chamfer. But I come in here, I put some scrap 400 grit paper on here, just tape it on there, and I go right here into this hole and clean them up. And works real quick. It's just a wooden dowel with a 3/8 turn down on it. Nothing fancy. Really easy to do, but primitive, but works. Now what I want to do, I got to fix this one. Then I'm going to put everything in foil packets except these two. These are cable Damascus, or cable, whatever you want to call it. And I'll get these all heat treated and follow up with these, and we'll go from there. Now there's some things I was going to point out. This fillet flipper, or folder, liner lock it's going to be, will have a screw-in thumb opener, or thumb stud. And you got a chamfer one side for the screw, 256 screw. These, however, will have pressed in thumb bobs, whatever you want to call them. And I'll have to make those. They have to be smaller because of the bevel height I need in here. And I don't have that with the factory ones I have. So I'll make them, and they will be pressed in. And they will be flush on this side. We're going to go from there and get these heat treated. So I was able to get most of the blades in the oven. I still have 2 more stainless blades to heat treat, the 2 fixed blades. And I have to thermocycle these 2 neck knives. And I will do that after I get all this stainless stuff heat treated. And meantime, I have to work on 2 sheaths for a couple knives I made last week and week before. I'll put a picture up right here. So I got to start on those while those are heat treating. But I'm afraid we're going to have to hold it right here, or stop it here. I'm out of time, and I need to get this video out. I appreciate you coming along with me for another day in the shop. I'll see you on the next video, where we'll be starting on the folding fillet knife. I want to thank you for watching. I thank my patrons, and we'll see you on the next one.